Hold on just 1 second. We're going live. Screen's going to go black. Just one moment. Share the levels. One moment. Okay. Little technical things here. Please excuse me. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show you how we call the bottom of the market today, the Uber IPO. It's priced. My thoughts, my further thoughts. We're going to go through all that and more. You're not going to want to miss it. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. We have so many great things to share with you today. We're going to talk about where Uber priced and why I think they priced it for perfection and what I feel is going to happen. And again, even further thoughts as we're getting more updates, including the market predictions, how we called the bottom of the entire market today, and more. We're going to go through all of that. But first, by watching this video, you are agreeing to hold T3 Live harmless and not responsible for anything shown on this video. If you do not agree to that, you must exit immediately. And by continuing to watch, you are agreeing to that. Okay, we have so many great things to talk about. Thank you so much for agreeing to that. We have so many great things to talk about here. So let's just go ahead and just get right into the mix. We're going to start off with the Uber IPO, and then I'm going to show you how we called the bottom of the market. So let's talk about that. So they ended up pricing the stock for $45. They ended up pricing the stock for $45. And what does that mean? I mean, it's just a number, right? So $45 is basically, valuing it, in the 80, mid 80, it depends if there's over allocation, whatever it is, it's probably going to be about a mid $80 billion valuation. Now, many people think that is just way too lofty. I think Kramer said sell it. I mean, again, you have everyone out there pretty much saying the exact opposite of me, explaining to me why this is going to fail, and I just don't think they get it. I just think they're missing out on something. I'm going to explain to you more things and more reasonings for why Uber is going to be the hottest IPO of the year. Well, first of all, they originally had a $120 billion valuation. The bankers reportedly suggested to the company to raise $120 billion. You know what that means? These bankers chose this company to make money off of. These bankers were dropping money on the company because they loved what they saw. They saw it as an easy opportunity to make money, and they were discussing what they felt the best valuation of the company is. The conservative pricing you might see comes as Lyft, which is, again, Uber's competitor here, just really had a terrible, terrible IPO open. Just an absolute terrible IPO open. And, the company is losing more than $1 billion in the first 3 months of this year. Compare that to 2018, where Uber lost only $1.8 billion. At this rate, Lyft is going to lose $4 billion. Uber, which I obviously can't type in the symbol of, is only losing $1 billion a year. So the important thing to note right there is that Uber is a more solid fundamental company. They're more fundamentally solid than Lyft, by far. The only way you could compare it is a poorly run automated cab hailing company as opposed to a more properly run cab hailing car service company. Not only that, Uber expands. You already see how Uber wants to expand. They want to do food delivery. They want to do a lot of things. Now, there's always people on the road. This is just a phenomenon. Here is, again, the number one thing people are underestimating when it comes to these companies and growth. First of all, Uber not only has those 3.9 million workers, but what do you think happens with their workers as they expand? I hate to sound cruel, but they get laid off. They get laid off. They're not going to lay them off initially, but you know what's going to happen? I'll explain to you what's going to happen. They're going to come out with automated vehicles. The human drivers, the of human species behind the wheel that is not automating it, they're going to protest. They're going to complain. And as Uber grows, the irony of where the world is going and how it's going to match up perfectly into their business model is we're going towards autonomous vehicles. Now, at this moment in my life, I am not ready to put myself or my family inside an autonomous vehicle. But you know what? There are plenty more people who wouldn't, if they feel it's safe, would gladly sit in one. And with that being said, as artificial intelligence actually begins to grow, and it's growing, you have to realize the scientific technology rate is growing 100% a year. So most people don't understand that in 1 year, in 1 day for now, from today, take today, go out 1 year in 1 day, we will have learned more scientific knowledge than in total human history for every single year prior. That's what happens when you go up 100% a year. That is the rate of technological advancement right now. I mean, I don't have to, we used a computer the size of a small house to get Apollo on the moon. Now we have an iPhone that everyone has, which is infinitely more powerful. Think about that. I mean, it's not, I mean, in terms of like humanity, the distance between landing on the moon and landing on Mars and taking pictures and sending it back with video feed and testing is on a whole technologically different level. So what's going to happen is as Uber grows, they're going to be having less workers, unlike every single other company out there in existence today. Now, everybody was always afraid. What if McDonald's starts having robots? Go to Japan. I have a lot of friends there. Go to Japan. Go inside some of the restaurants in Japan. Some of them are fully automated. A lot of them are just fully automated restaurants. There's this one restaurant where you're sitting at a table and there's just a conveyor belt going around. And if you want to take the food, you just scan your card. It goes right to your credit card. A little thing opens, you take your food, and then the conveyor belt goes again. And people are just sitting around a conveyor belt with moving food. You're telling me with all this artificial intelligence, we already know the technology is being built. We already know it exists. You're telling me the future of these companies isn't laying off workers to hire robots? Do not, do not actually believe for 1 second that this company cannot change the future. The fear with owning Uber right now, what the naysayers will say, the best arguments I have heard is that there's going to be other companies doing it. Okay. You know what Uber is? Uber is first. Uber is first in cab hailing services. You want to know other companies who were first? How about here's a monthly of Google. How about web browsing? How about web browsing? Google was really the first major web browser. When Google came out, they were the best search engine. Even if Facebook, you could say MySpace existed before them, but Facebook is the top social media company. Yes, there are thousands of them. Netflix, yes, they're suffering competition issues and whatnot. That does not stop Netflix from going from $3 to 400 and change after having a 7-for-1 split. I mean, do not underestimate what customers entail. There were 1.5 billion rides given last year. In your humble opinion, do you think that's going to increase in 2019? Do you think that's going to increase in 2020? Human populations like this. You tell me. You tell me when these underdeveloped countries start developing and Uber comes in, makes a deal with the government of the country to just have automated vehicles riding around so nobody needs to own a car anymore. Tell me how good that sounds. Somebody coming into your country and basically offering you a free transportation system installed. I mean, do not underestimate Do not underestimate how powerful that is. People underestimate how powerful. Uber is not Snapchat. Okay? Uber is not Snapchat. Uber is not Pinterest. This is not Uber. This is not your everyday app. This is an app. This is a company which makes over 10 billion a year in gross revenue, currently losing 1.8. You have bankers behind it. You're pricing it near the mid end of the range, $45, 80 billion valuation. Uber could be $1 trillion company. Uber could be the next $1 trillion company. I have driven an Uber. I've driven Uber a few times, and I really mean few. I have ordered an Uber twice in my life. Okay, don't think like I'm some Uber fanboy. Oh, I love Uber. No, it's just raw numbers, simple fundamental analysis, simple facts. Now, I really don't know what Uber's going to do right off the open. Is it going to shoot up, shoot down? I could care less. I'm approaching it with a fundamental perspective and saying 10 years from now, 10 years from now, when people are going to look back at Uber and they're going to see where Uber is trading, I humbly believe that they'll be looking at a chart that sort of looks like this. The only issue is because Netflix started so long ago, in like 10 years, the 10-year chart would look sort of like this. Don't also fool yourself when you start have robots delivering food to you. When Uber creates automated drivers where the trunk opens and your food is there, you remove the food, the trunk closes and it drives away. Do not underestimate where the future of humanity and technology is going. We're moving up to 5G. We're moving up into automated vehicles. We all know this. Why would somebody out there compare Lyft to Uber? Because they're both cab hailing companies. This is the one you shouldn't own. This is the one that doesn't know how to manage themselves. Now, do I think there's room for several automated driving services out there? Yes, but when you have a head start like Uber does, you're going to be a top dog. You'll always be you'll be top either number one, most likely, or number two or three. You'll always be there. And if you think that justifies an $80 billion valuation, you're mistaken. That justifies a much higher valuation. Again, the bankers wanted it at 120. And if bankers want it at 120, they feel like when they sell to their clients that it's going to be worth a lot more, even from that point. You have 3.9 million workers who are not on salary for Uber. As the company grows, they're going to make more money. That is untrue of a lot of companies. You could be like, obviously, Mark, no. Most of the time, that is not true. For Amazon, it wasn't true for years. For Netflix, it still remains untrue to this day. For Tesla, it's definitely untrue. Every car they sell costs them money. The more cars they sell, the more money they lose. See that? And they have a physical product. And they have workers on salary. How big does the Uber headquarters need to be? As big as the billionaires who own it want it to be, right? You know how big an Amazon warehouse has to be? City blocks long. Like, how big is that Amazon warehouse? So you're running an app that is the largest employer, one of the largest employers in the world, which nobody mentions that with Uber. Nobody mentions that Uber is one of the largest employers in the world for, we'll call it a publicly traded company, private to public, public as of tomorrow. So when you are dealing with something like that, and you know what these Ubers are going to do? You think there's going to be future subsidies for clean energy and subsidies, government subsidies for all these things? Who do you think is going to get those government subsidies when Uber runs a fleet of the most fuel efficient, greenest, zero pollution automated travel machines? That's what it is. You want to call it a car? I'll call it an automated travel machine. A machine you sit in and it automatically travels somewhere. When the world is like that, so let me stop and just ask you this question. If you feel the world is not going to be like that, if you really believe the world is not turning into that, dismiss every single thing I'm saying. It's worthless. There were so many technologies that I think are still going to be in the world in the future that don't that haven't performed well now. Triple D, remember the 3D printing? They're printing organs, they're printing burgers, they're printing all these things. It's critical for space travel when you send supplies to outer space, and you could print things that you need on demand because there's a not you can't like bring your couch, your rug, your TV, your lamp, you can't really do that. So you need to print out some of these things that you might need. So again, it's just my thought of the future. The longer this future comes, the harder it is for Uber. But the truth is, Uber is only losing 50 something cents a ride. They are on a different level. Okay. Now we're going to share with you how we called the market bottom. So we're actually going to jump right into it. It was based off a Newsbeat Bandito thing. So we're going to go right into this. How's that? It's going to be the first edition of the Newsbeat Bandit Mailbag. And what we're going to do in this is um, I basically take an email and I go ahead and I share it with you guys and we talk about it. And I think this email was interesting. So right over here, we have an email today that came in. Um, Thank you again, Mark, for another amazing bottom call in the market. We took Baba at day lows and I also took Apple. They both turned out to be extremely profitable trades for me. It actually made my week. Newsbeat Live Room is not only the best trading room out there, it has the best supportive community of traders too. I completely agree with that. And that just came in today from the member of our room. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the Qs chart here. I want to show you how I did it. So first, it all starts off with an algorithmic trend line. That algorithmic trend line is the bottom of 129 to 38. Again, there's a recorded course that I think is less than $100 if you want just a recorded course of it and learn it. I think it's one of the most important things out there. It was designed to really help you truly understand trend lines, and they're a lot more complex than people give them credit for. Um, and it's a really unique methodology. So yesterday, utilizing that methodology, what did we do? Right over, where is that? May 8th? Yeah, okay, May 8th. There we go. So we gave you triple Q support. Wait, today is May 9th, so we need the levels for May 9th. Did I not refresh my page? Is that why it's missing? May 8th, May 9th. What am I missing here? Today is May 9th. Did I just forget to change the date? Oh, it was never tweeted. Okay. All right. So from last night's Newsbeat show, all right, so I don't have it in the tweet section. That's fine. So from last night's Newsbeat show, we gave you a triple Q's bottom of 182.65, which was this trend line right over here. You could see it ended up hitting 182.09 and then rallied up. But I want to show you how we did it and where we actually decided to buy it. So the call in the room when you were going through 182.65 was actually right over here. Right over here, you started going through the level, but when you actually look at the trend line, it's actually like right over there. The trend line actually hits at 1024. This is translated on a 1 minute because when you look at a daily ascending chart, the longer in the day you wait to hit that level, the higher it goes because the line, as you could see, keeps ascending. So what we did right over here on the triple Qs is we were watching it flush down here through the line. And what we were waiting for was a 1 minute confirmation trade after the trend line hit. And this is when you're supposed to use the 1 minute chart late in the day. I'm going to just move my mug right here. So right over here, you saw the stock falling today. And then what I said right over here, I said, if it breaks 182.21, I'm buying it. And then it went through 182.21, hit 182.29, went all the way to 182.52, and never looked back. The bottom down here just never looked back. The triple Qs exploded. But all the way as we were going up, I was base and down like here, these little up and down moves here before it just really took off throughout the day. I was saying the entire time on the broadcast, I'm like, guys, that really could be the bottom of the day. And you should probably, I'm going to hold something here. And I ended up holding Alibaba. So if you were buying Alibaba with me today, you're buying it right over here when the stock was, went from 17 when it was in the 173.20s, which was like 18 cents off day lows. And we bought Baba and we held it for this entire move. I mean, this is a 1 minute chart. Let me translate it on the 5 so you just see like the number of bars. So just to show you, we were buying it at the bottom here on this right over here. We're buying the bottom here, and I was able to ride most of this up on a smaller position remainder. I actually watched the stock go up in my favor after taking it off the dead lows. I literally watched the stock bounce 7 points. This is a 5 minute chart where you bounce 7 points, by the way. So that is how we did it. So I bought Baba because I wanted to be involved in a Chinese name. And I want to also talk real quick about that. So what we did was we used algorithmic 1 minute confirmation in English. Again, we make it very simple on the broadcast. Like, we're looking for the bottom here. Okay, I'll wait. I'll let you guys know if I'm going to go in. I'll let you guys know. Okay, I'm in now. Stop is day low. So like you have to realize on the Baba, I was risking 18 cents. Take 2,000 shares, you're risking $360 on a couple thousand shares of Baba. That 2,000 shares was potentially worth 14,000. No way are you making 14,000 on 2,000 shares. But to make 3,000, $4,000 was very easy in the Alibaba. If you could call the bottom of the market, which I don't see a lot of forms of technical analysis be able to do as consistently as we do. And again, I'm coming to you every day. Like yesterday's level on the IWM was 157.91. We gave you, and it's again on last night's video when we shared with you the algo levels. We gave you 157.91, 153.91 in IWM. The day low of IWM, 153.74. Look at that. Bounces beautifully. People in our room caught this move. As soon as they bought in, they watched the stock pop over $1 in their face in 20 minutes. That's the Russell 2000 ETF. And it's not about boasting. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't part of this trade. I'll be straight up with you, I wasn't, but there are a lot of people who were. There are a lot of people who are part of this trade. And tell me how valuable this is. Unlike Mark Melnick, who forgot to put out the levels on Twitter last night and only in the Newsbeat portal, Colton remembered to tweet out 10:23 a.m. You're getting an alert on your email, you're getting an alert on your phone, you're getting a Twitter alert, however you set your preferences. At 10:23 a.m. that IWM support is 153.91. You know how many traders just right off that tweet just take IWM? I would assume hundreds. I don't have the exact number. But there are hundreds of Newsbeat traders who are part of our service with nothing more than just utilizing the Twitter. That's where they see the value. They come in at night and they trade some days, but a lot of days they're at work. You have a mix of everything. But again, I just need to show you because you can't make this up. 10:23 a.m. you get the tweet. Let's look at IWM on the 1 minute chart. I want to show you 10:23 a.m. So right over here is 10:23 a.m. The IWM just broke the level, went down from there a full 11 cents, and then exploded all the way back up. Look at that. And it obviously went This is what it did afterwards. So you're getting the alert right over here on your phone in real time. Whoosh, never look back. Not only that, you have some psychopath in your ear telling you, guys, I really feel the market could have bottomed here. Guys, I still think the market bottomed here. Guys, I still think the market bottomed here. You have me saying, I think I said it 4 or 5 times today. As we were in the market of, I bought BABA. I didn't buy IWM. I bought BABA. But again, it doesn't really matter what you trade. If your stock went up after, look at any stock you're watching. If it really started going up right before 10:30 or at 10:30, you could have utilized our levels. No matter, just take any stock you traded, look at it after 10:30, and tell me if it went up. And if it didn't, then it wouldn't have helped you. And if it did, it would have helped you a lot. So you have to remember that as well. So what I actually did, again, just to reiterate on the triple Qs, I waited for the real trend line to break. So here you could see on the 5 minute, the trend line actually was the bottoming out candle. Remember, when I give you an ascending support line of 182.65, that is still the daily line. Like it is based off this line. But depending on what part of the day your ascending support hits, the level changes. Most people don't know that. And it's okay. It's if you bought at 182.65 or just underneath there today, you're happy. But I'm saying you could pinpoint it even better, and that's what we did. So the first bar that flushed through our support level. So here were the steps of how I destroyed. I made money, calling the triple Q's bottom and how I did it. So you basically look at the trend line to break first. After the trend line breaks, and here's the 1 minute chart. I'm just going to zoom in. This bottom trend line will disappear. After the chart on the daily tested the trend line right over here, I just wait for the next 1 minute breakout. So I'm just watching it drop. Did I buy at the dead bottom at 182.09 today? No, but I bought through 182.21 on the same candle, 12 cents off the day low. I mean, I bought, that's when I was buying BABA, not the Qs, but you get the picture. And believe me, BABA was a homer. But I don't see a lot of forms of technical analysis that allow that. A lot of it is just about breaking a candle high and low. And we had really a lot of other really nice looks today. I mean, a lot of us were trading Roku. A lot of us made a ton of money on that one. I didn't make a ton of money on this one. I did well in it. But I mean, here was Roku. High five strategy worked. Fun, know your limit strategy worked. All the algorithmic methodologies that were applicable worked. And we're calling this out all day. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to watch me trade Uber, you have to obviously be in the Newsbeat live room when it's open. Of course, you can be part of that for just $49 for first time users. You could come in the Newsbeat live room right now. You could sign up. There's a link in the description, and you could watch us trade Uber. And really, as the email said, and I will stand by this, and I say it all the time, said the Newsbeat live room is not only the best trading room out there, it also has the best supportive community of traders too. I would also say the best, most consistent, kindest community of traders out there as well. I will add words to that. So with that being said, I think I make a very compelling reason why I think Uber is going to be 10 years from now. Whether this video is up anymore, will probably be on Newsbeat. What was it? Newsbeat season like 12. I mean, it's going to be like insert that show that should have stopped after 3 seasons but just kept going to 20. No, we're going to always have great content for you. And I think if you hold Uber for 10 years, you're going to look back and it's going to be one of those stocks when you stop and you look and you're like, oh, I could have owned it all the way down there. And that is going to be one of the things they tell you. So I hope you guys enjoyed the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. The Newsbeat show is up to episode, just to update you. I mean, you have to also realize how many episodes we've gone to. We did our 330th episode here today. So again, we're going to keep going. I want to make it to 1,000, but baby steps. Maybe the next one, the next paramount achievement will be Newsbeat show 500. But nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoy the value we bring you here, and I will continue to try to do my best to bring you more. I hope you guys enjoyed the Newsbeat show. Happy trading, make money. I will see you guys tomorrow in the trading room in the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.